Hi guys, this is Rowlands. I am a fully certified nutritional balancing practitioner, and I am here to speak to you today about something that many people suffer from, and that is insomnia. So I'm in the woods again and it's a nice sunset, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about this very common and problematic health problem that many people suffer from, and something that I have most certainly suffered from in the past. Now, the main purpose of this video is to explain to people some of the reasonings behind why people get insomnia, and I would like to say that it's often not people's minds or people's thoughts necessarily that are causing insomnia, and a lot of people do think that that's the case with people who have or are suffering from insomnia. Now, one of the main reasons why a lot of people suffer from it, and they don't necessarily understand why, is because of some quite major and important minerals in the body that the body doesn't have any reserves of. And the three main ones really are zinc, calcium and magnesium, and it's one of the reasons why you will find people saying, you know, drink some warm milk, for example, or take some magnesium oil and it'll help you sleep. And that's quite true, and it's because the body uses these sedative minerals, zinc, calcium and magnesium, to help a person relax and help a person get to sleep. Now, we all know that insomnia causes some pretty big issues in the morning if you don't get a lot of sleep. In fact, sleeping and rest is a major part of the nutritional balancing program, and it's something that we try to promote a hell of a lot in order for people to heal. So I think it's a really important video, and a lot of people do talk to me about it and would like some advice on some ways to tackle the problem. So hopefully I'll be able to give you a long list of different reasonings why, and some symptomatic remedies on how to approach it to get a better night's sleep. So another issue that we find with people that have got insomnia, and you'll tend to find me speak about this on a lot of other videos because it is a big problem for healing in the 21st century, and that's copper. And copper gets out of balance in many people. It's extremely common. One of the reasonings behind it is the reduction in zinc in most people. But copper becomes out of balance and it stimulates the brain, basically. It's a stimulator. Anyone that's got an overactive mind generally has copper toxicity. Anyone that's suffering from anxieties or depressions, and it can get more sinister. Things like bipolar, Tourette's, tics, all these different things are actually related to copper. And when someone's suffering from a copper imbalance, they really struggle to get to sleep. And one of the problems related to that is because copper gives someone an overactive mind, people often feel that the reasons why they cannot get to sleep is because they're thinking too much. and when in reality their copper is actually out of balance, and it causes the brain to naturally overthink and is naturally overactive. I was quite shocked in my healing progress when my sleeping patterns, my sleep considerably improved when I was releasing copper. Well, after I released copper, when I was releasing copper, when I was in the process of it coming into the bloodstream, I actually had more insomnia because the copper was being released in the blood, and it was obviously being circulated around the brain, and it was causing an increase in my insomnia symptoms. So this is obviously a you can understand that if copper is the cause, when it's coming out of the body and into the bloodstream, you'll get an increase in symptoms, and then afterwards you'll tend to find that your sleep improves. So it's very, very important to understand these things, and it cannot actually help people get to sleep. There's been many a times when I've not been able to sleep, and I'll realise that it's very likely that I'm releasing metals, or the chances are is I've got some other metals stuck in my brain that's causing me to have the insomnia, and the understanding of that actually helps to calm the mind. It helps you get more grounded, and it helps me to get to sleep much better. Now, another cause of insomnia is something called sympathetic dominance, which is something else you might hear me talk a lot about on other videos, and it's usually coupled up with people that have got a copper imbalance. And people that are in sympathetic dominance, they basically have their fight or flight mode chronically switched on. So their body has become so stressed that the body has chronically switched on its sympathetic nervous system, which obviously should only be switched on temporarily in a normal body when someone needs to fight or flight, and then it gets switched off and the parasympathetic state kicks in. But with these people, they're so incredibly stressed for a variety of different reasons that this mode is constantly turned on. And obviously if you are in a constant fight or flight, the body is tensed up, it's wound up, it's ready for action, and as a result you cannot switch off. Basically it's very difficult. You'll find that if you are in this state and you get out of the state into a more parasympathetic way, then something quite interesting happens, and a different type of feeling occurs when you get into sleep at night, and it's a feeling that you know to be correct. Your intuition is like, this is how it's meant to feel like when I'm going to sleep. Now, many people have never even actually felt this before. It might have been years and years since their bodies were in a parasympathetic state. So it's quite refreshing, but at the same time it's quite shocking to feel like you want to go to sleep, because it's just so alien to a lot of people. Now, I've mentioned it a little bit, there are some other toxic metals that can cause insomnia and sleep problems, things like lead, mercury, arsenic and cadmium. Usually if you are suffering from any toxicity, there's a very, very high chance that you also have other toxicities in the brain as well, and in the body. So a nutritional balancing program that I give and teach based on a hair mineral analysis that we provide enables us to see exactly really what's causing a lot of this insomnia or sleep problems. Obviously we can see the toxic metals using the hair analysis test. We can see whether someone's in sympathetic dominance. We can see whether their oxidation rate is causing problems. Some people are in an oxidation rate called fast oxidation, and it's when a person feels like they're running around 100 miles an hour, and this can also cause insomnia. So all of these that I'm talking about is mainly physical. You know, these are physical things, and it's very refreshing for a lot of people who feel that their mind is causing the insomnia, when in reality it's not necessarily the mind. It's more to do with physical issues that's brought on by stress or by poor diets, poor lifestyles, etc, etc. And that's something that my kind of aim in life is to do, is to help people heal the mind, the body and the spirit, and by healing them together as a unit, you not only heal yourself as a whole, but you go through some very wonderful changes, and you start to develop the human body in ways that you don't necessarily see too often in the 21st century. So some other causes of insomnia are things like stimulants. A lot of people are basically running on certain stimulants, whether it be coffee or alcohol or even cigarettes, can cause a person to suffer from insomnia. Sugar is a big one, obviously. And again, all these are physical. You know, all these are apparently normal parts of living in the 21st century. But in reality, you know, the human body is just not designed to live on sugar or on caffeine. You know, in even tea, with the caffeine. And you know, even just cutting out sugar can drastically improve a person's sleeping habits. You know, cutting down on coffee, although it might make you feel a little bit tired in the daytime, it's well worth it. You know, it's only temporary tiredness until you get to a stage where your energy levels start picking up again in a more natural fashion. So, moving on to some mental aspects of insomnia, there is a few. A lot of people are very fearful, and a lot of people worry too much. But again, these are usually coupled in with things like copper imbalance and toxic metal problems. And you'll find that if you start to reduce the copper using something like the program we recommend, then your fears and your worries usually subside, which is another quite shocking thing for people to experience, because you obviously just think that these fears and worries are coming from your own self rather than something more physical. So, you know, things like anger is often related to cadmium. Fears are very much related to copper. Worrying is you know, symptom of mainly copper and being in sympathetic dominance. And there's loads of other different factors involved, which is the beauty of reading properly performed hair analysis, is you can really understand exactly what's going on in the body, because it gives a mineral blueprint of what's going on, and it's quite a fascinating test. Some obvious things that people don't kind of think about, or they're not aware of, you know, things like loud noises, if you're cold, if, you know, the room's not dark enough, you know, all these small factors are all a culmination. One of the things that's, you know, it's important to realise is that all we're trying to do really is getting back in touch with nature. You know, obviously if you go into bed in a more of a natural environment, it's going to be dark. It gets dark at 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Another thing is getting in contact with the circadian rhythm. Now, this is a natural rhythm of the body, the sleep and wake cycle, and it works on the moon cycle. It works, as soon as things start getting dark, the body cells, the body literally starts to shut down and prepare itself for sleep. Now, anyone that's sleeping past 10:30 at night time, the body thinks, well, hold on, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to kick out some more adrenal hormones and some more cortisol to keep you awake, and that actually causes people to have insomnia too, the fact that they're going to bed too late. So if you try and get to bed before 10, preferably 9, even 8 o'clock, you'll find that you'll not only sleep better, but you'll have a much more rested sleep. And obviously a more rested sleep means that you will heal much more, so it's very important. Some other things are EMFs. I've talked about EMF on another video. EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. You come from cell phones, Wi-Fi, computers, house wiring. So it's really important to get yourself aware of EMFs, because they can really stimulate a person and stimulate the brain and stimulate the copper and toxicities that are in there, and the toxic metals act as antennas and amplify the EMF signals and cause real big problems for people that are trying to sleep. Another one's not drinking too much, not eating too much. In fact, drinking too much after 6 o'clock, that's all going to keep you up at night time. So it's really important to be aware of your lifestyle. How do you prepare for bed? What are you doing? Are you drinking cups of tea at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night time and wondering why you can't sleep? Are you not eating enough, really, and the body's starving itself and it's under stress? Are you eating no, I've said that. Are you drinking too much? Are you not eating enough? So some things to help you deal with sleep issues, and some symptomatic remedies that are good for most people, but in my opinion don't really get to the root cause. If you really want to get to the root cause, you need to get yourself on something like a nutritional balancing program with a hair mineral analysis that you can do through me or Luke. Our emails are in the comments below, and that will get deep down into the roots causes of what's going off, down into the cells, and we can heal things at a cellular level, and that's when true healing starts to occur. But you can try a few things. Trying to get to bed early at night is a good one. Drink some warm milk, some raw goat's milk would be good before bed. These are full of tryptophan, and tryptophan helps people get to sleep better. Things like chicken is full of it. Turkey's the same. You can also try to use some natural sleep remedies. Things like valerian root is good. Other things like slippery elm. Another remedy is to have a cold shower, and especially to put the cold shower on your feet. What that does is draws blood away from the head, and it allows people to sleep much better and much easily. Some other remedies is to do some stretching, to do some bit of meditation, to get relaxed, to ground yourself and allow your body to start to switch on the sleep system. And in the nutritional balancing program, we recommend things like saunas. Saunas bring people out of the fight or flight. It relaxes the body. It starts to calm the mind. It starts to calm the brain, which is obviously very important for sleep. Other good things are things like reflexology that we also recommend. Reflexology obviously draws a person's energy downwards. It makes you feel really relaxed and really sleepy, so that's a really important part of the program that helps with sleep. Make sure that you've got a good sleeping area. Make sure that all your phones are switched off, make sure that you have a dark room, it's quiet, it's warm. All these simple things that a lot of people overlook, they don't necessarily realise. Some people can sleep much easier with essential oils, so you should try different scents to make you sleep much better. Try and work on your attitude, try and leave any worries and fears to one side. You know, it's time for bed, you'll deal with them in the morning. You know, worrying about something that can or can't happen is just living in the future. You're not really living in the now, and the now really is all that you've got, you know. So if you're living in the future by worrying about different things or being fearful, when you think about it, you're just worrying about a thought that you've conjured up in your mind. Really, you don't know whether it's going to be true or not. So try and leave your worries and your fears to one side, and you'll deal with them in the morning. Some other things: 5-HTP, which is a natural remedy, a more stronger remedy for sleeping. Sometimes we recommend it on a nutritional balancing program if people are really struggling with their insomnia and sleep problems. Chamomile tea, really nice, refreshing drink, and it's if you get a good cup of strong organic chamomile tea, you'll start to feel that the body will relax and move into a sleep state. So anyone that's waking up tired, usually you'll find that you're in some adrenal burnout, and that's an important thing to fix, using preferably a nutritional balancing program. Sleeping is a really important part of healing, and without it you cannot heal very well. So if you're waking up in the morning not feeling refreshed, then some alarm bells should start ringing, and the chances are that your body's in quite a deranged state, and it needs a little bit of fixing. Now, I'll just briefly talk about some tips that I had when I was suffering from some bad insomnia. And sometimes you'll get insomnia when you are releasing metals, very common. If you're releasing copper or some other toxic metals, it's very common for you to get insomnia. And it's really important to try not to worry about being awake. Try to get in touch with your body and understand why you're awake. You know, the chances are that you're genuinely releasing some copper, you're releasing some heavy metals, and understanding that alone really helps to deal with the insomnia. So it's really easy, if you are dumping metals, to get into that worried state, to get into that fearful state, and it just doesn't help, you know. It's so much easier to just lie there, do some meditation, relax as much as possible, and you'll find that even if you don't get much sleep, or even if you get no sleep and you just rest for most of the night in bed, the body does quite a good job at resting itself, and you'll pass through the healing reaction much easier. If you're worrying about not sleeping, or you have fears about it, generally it's not going to help too much. But if you have faith on the program and you speak to your practitioner, you're in close contact with your practitioner, and you can discuss the fact that you're probably most likely going through a healing reaction, then it's much easier just to allow the healing reaction to happen, to maybe read a book, or to watch some TV, or to just lie there and just rest, and watch the thoughts, watch the emotions come up, watch the traumas arise. And this is a much better way of dealing with your insomnia in healing reactions. Please be aware that it is likely to happen at some point on your healing journey, and it's something that you shouldn't be worried about. It's actually something that you should welcome if you're following the program correctly. So that's everything. That's it for today. The sun is going down, so ironically it's time for some well-earned rest for today. Anyone that's interested in learning more about Nutritional Balancing Program and getting a hair analysis test with me or Luke, our emails are below, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Good night and God bless.